Hi, my name is Kathy Winter. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Chesapeake, Virginia. And here are 4 cards that I made using the Berry Blessings stamp set and the Berry Delightful Designer Series paper. Now this stamp set and paper is a celebration exclusive. If you make a $100 purchase in January or February of 2021, you will receive this paper and the stamp set for free. So it's in our celebration brochure on page 14. You get the stamp set and the paper for free with a $100 order. So let me show you really quickly these 4 cards. This one, very simple, with some DSP and a little background and the little blueberries. The Hey Friend comes from the Itty Bitty Greetings stamp set. This is one of my favorites. It's actually 2 sets of stamps with greetings for almost every occasion, and I used that Hey Friend, and I think the font actually matches the font in the stamp set pretty well. Then here's another one. We're just featuring the Designer Series paper, and then these dies. The strawberries I did cut out with my scissors, but there is a punch that coordinates in the mini catalog that you could punch out that from some of the Designer Series paper. Here's one I made for Father's Day, just using some of the Designer Series paper and cardstock. This is actually a balmy blue piece of Designer Series paper from another pack. And that Happy Father's Day comes from the Best Year stamp set, which is in the annual catalog. And then this is the one I want to feature today. So it's sort of like a split opening card. And so I'm going to show you how to make that one. So you're going to start with, you need 2 pieces of Designer Series paper, 1 by 5 1/4 inches. And then you'll need a Whisper White, 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. And then this is Pacific Point, 2 1/2 by 3 1/2. That's going to be the matte. You're going to need a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 for the inside of the card. And then we're going to start with a piece of Pacific Point cardstock. Now this is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, which is a regular size for a card. It's a half a sheet of cardstock. We're actually going to cut this down. So let me bring in my paper trimmer, and I'm going to cut it down to 5 1/2. So that's kind of messy. Let me do it this way. So 5 1/2. It's going to actually be 5 1/2 by 5 1/2. So if you want to just cut your paper that way to start, that's fine. Now we're going to slide this over here to 1 1/4. Or it'll be 4 1/4 over here, which is our regular card measurement. So I'm going over here, 1 1/4. Maybe you can't see that. Maybe I should put it over here. If I slide this over here, I'm doing 1 1/4, and over here it's 4 1/4, and I'm going to score that. And that's going to be the card front. And then the piece that we cut off, we're going to cut a 1 1/4 inch piece. Again, I'm using this measurement over here. This allows me to keep this on the board and gives me more stability. So that's 1 1/4 by 5 1/2. Okay, let me set the paper trimmer away. Now, what we're going to do is take our Designer Series paper, and one piece is going to go up here, and then the other piece is going to go on this strip that we just cut. So let me go and adhere that really quick. I'm going to use my stamp and seal. I think I'll go down the whole length of it. And you may want to look, your card is going to sit this way, so you may want to look and see which way it looks better, depending on what your paper is. This one, the leaves to me seem to be sort of like growing down this way, so I'm going to put it that way. And then on this one, let's see how I want it. I think I'll do it that way. Okay, so you're just adhering the two pieces of designer series paper. One goes to the flap, and then one goes on this piece here. Now this blue scrap paper wasn't the best to have underneath there. It's hard to see. Okay, so that's going to go like this. Now, the 4 by 5 1/4, you know, let's do the other stamping first. Let's just set that aside and do this piece. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my piercing mat, which I like to use when I stamp with photopolymer. And I'm going to use the, let's see, I'm going to do the outline stamp first. I'm going to come over here and get a piece of scrap paper because I'm going to be stamping off. Let me just set this over here. Okay, so I'm using Granny Apple Green is the green. And I'm going to ink up this outline stamp. And I am going to stamp on this piece here. Okay, that I did with Granny Apple Green full strength. I'm just over here off camera cleaning with my chamois. Now I'm going to take what I call the fill, and I am going to ink it up. But then I'm going to come over here to a piece of scrap. Let me bring it on here so you can see. I'm just going to stamp it on the scrap once, and then I'm going to come over here and try to line it up and stamp so that it's a little bit lighter to fill in those leaves. I did pretty good with that. Okay, for the blueberries, we're going to do the same thing. I'm using Pacific Point. And I'm going to start with the detailed, the outline of the blueberries. Now there's two little places here for the two big berries, and that little one just kind of goes along for the ride. So I'm going to go ahead and put the outline here. And then I'm going to take what I call the fill piece. I think this is getting a little bit low, so I'm going to stamp it off. That didn't ink up very well. Let me ink it up again. Stamp it off. And now I'm going to come in here and fill in the berries, and it'll be a little bit lighter tone. All right. And then I said, just like that first card I show you, I'm going to use that Hey Friend. Oh, I still need that. I'm going to use that Hey Friend and stamp that up here. Of course, you wouldn't need to do this, but I thought that looked nice up there. It was a little bit of a white space. And like I said, I really think that font matches nicely. Now this is going to go onto the mat, but I'm just going to set that off for a second. Bring back, oh no, let me go ahead and do that because I want that together. So I'm going to go ahead and mat this to the cardstock piece with an even border all around. Okay, so there's that. All right, now I'm going to bring this in. So that's your 4 1/4. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just lay these pieces here. So the card's going to be like this, and we're going to attach this in a minute. But we want to make sure that our words show through the opening. And I don't want to glue it all down now, just in case I make a mistake, I can still flip it over. So here's the words. You always have a way of making my day. So I'm going to go ahead and ink that up in the Pacific Point. And then I'm just going to kind of hold this where everything's going to go. This is just how I like to do it. And then I'm going to go right through here and stamp. And when you do the photopolymer, you want to kind of hold it down to let the ink release from the photopolymer. And then pick it up. That's perfect. Okay, so then all you have to do, let me clean that off quickly. If you clean your photopolymer right away, there's less staining than if you just leave them, wait till later. Okay, so I'm going to attach this to the inside. My stamp and seal. I'm just going to turn it sideways so I can get the edge here and here as even as I can. All right. And then the way you do this is you're going to line this up at the bottom. So you want the edges here even and the edges here even. And then we're going to put this on top. So we're going to use dimensionals. You could also just run your seal here and here, but nothing in the middle because we don't want it to stick to the inside of the card. So let me just flip that over. And we're going to put some dimensionals here at the top. I'm going to use 3, one on the ends and one in the middle, and then again at the bottom. Okay, so again, we don't want it to be glued here, otherwise it'll stick to the card. And then you're just going to take these off. Of course, I just cut my nails this morning and I can't get these out. I should get my little take your pick tool and do it. Okay, so now you just want to double check that you have this even across the bottom and side to side. And then you're just going to lay this. Whoops, that slid a little bit. Just going to put this down. And you're done. And that sticks like that. And that makes your card. Very simple, but it's kind of a wow feature to it. So again, these cards were made with the Berry, what is it called? Berry Blessings stamp set. And I have some other cards that I made on my blog that use all the designer series paper and all the images in the stamp set. The stamp set is a celebration item for free in January and February 2021. So just let me know if you'd like to place an order, if you have any questions, and thanks for stopping by.